work with this about. So before moving ahead with our today's topic, I think yesterday's Swarupa had this type of query, right? See, yeah, we had seen yesterday we were creating a list report on this pg.storm summary, where in case if we wanted to select all the values we normally use in operator, where we ask SAS to subset your data on basin column, which is among the list, like within the basin values we have NA, WP, SP, the again it's coming WP. Okay. So WP, NI, SI, correct? So it is actually the basin names which are in their codes, like North Atlantica, West Pacific, South Pacific, North Indian, South Indian. So these are those oceanic zones, okay? And these are the columns which we want in our report. So if we are trying to give this type of information into PROCRET, so obviously we are actually selecting all these rows or all these values, correct? Because ideally in your data we have this zones itself. Strict processing itself. That's it. It's internet. All right. So ideally, you know what this in is doing, correct? So in is a operator where we are asking SAS to select among or to subset your data among the given list, right? So if we actually go and check your data file, so what's your data set called as um, storm underscore summary, correct? So it is in our PG1 library. It is storm underscore summary. And if you want to check what are the types of basin codes, which is the data values in your data for basin. So you can always, if you want to check those values, you know, what you can do is you can simply write PROCRET equal to one dot from underscore summary tables. You can use only basin column. So what is this? It will give you the frequency counts for every value of basin, correct? So then looking into this basin column and its frequencies, you'll also come to know that with PROCFIT, what are the various types of values in this basin column. So see, it's EP, NA, NI, SI, SP, WP. So of course, keep this is also one of our data value, which is NA itself, but it's in small case. So it's an invalid data. So proc frequency gives you a count of basin columns, every individual value. So it's the frequency count, right? And this is where we come to know what are the type of oceans code which we have, which is named as basin. So it's East Pacific, North Atlantic, North Indian, South Indian, South Pacific, West Pacific, correct? So these are the various zones of your oceans in which the storm occurs. So as you know, during our training, we are getting connected, or we are going to use this code, or we are going to use the data file which is about international storm, right? Okay, so moving to this, we are actually telling the same thing. To select all the values from these columns among this list, and we know among this list we have all the values in your data. So in case if you are creating a macro like this where it is separated by comma, all right, so in case if we submit this report for Procprint, you know it will execute it. I don't know why every time Procprint is still processing. See, it's showing it's been run, but it's not giving us the output. So it's where basin all is fine. Ideally, we should always keep the sequence as where first, var first, and then where. Let's try with this code. So see, we get the result. So see, it's telling 2,431 rows have been processed, and if you see the result is also coming from all the basins SP, SI, WP. Why? Because in our code we have already provided those values that among this list of values give whatever the data has with basin column it will select, and we know these values are already there in your data set, right? So moving ahead, in case if you want to create a macro on this, so you can create a macro by using %let statement where you are creating a macro variable name. Suppose you give the same name and you give those values as NA, comma, WP, comma, SP, comma, South Indian, comma. Correct? So these are those values. Fine. So it's NA, WP, SP, NI, 5 values. Yes. So now instead of typing these values, let's try it out with our macro. So let's see if it works. So it's telling it's not working, correct? So it's in your where statement, it is not showing that your value is been subsetting or what is ampersand basin shown. So in case if you want to before check the values for what this macro variable basin has, before moving into your code, one can always use a statement called %put, where %put is a statement that whenever we write anything with %put, it will show you in the log. So this is valid only with your macro variables, okay, with %put. So it's ampersand basin. If you want to check the values for any of the macro variable which you are creating, you can always write with %put. Why? Because this %put is a macro statement because it's starting with a % sign, ending with a semicolon. See, whenever you're using macro language, there are a understanding to SAS that which is a macro language, which distinguish between SAS language and macro. So anything which starts with % and followed with the name, anything starts with ampersand followed with the name is understood by SAS that it's a macro language. So when we say it's a statement, you know now what statement means. Statement means anything which ends with semicolon, which starts with keyword, correct? It's a statement. So because it's %put, it's ending with a semicolon, it's a statement called %put. Same is %let, it's a statement. Whereas when we write ampersand and basin, it's going to be your macro variable. All right. So why macro variable? Because we have created this macro variable and it is representing with ampersand sign. So ampersand indicates to SAS that it's a macro variable. All right. Now again, some issues with this code. So I would just wanted to show you this. So with percent let statement, it will create macro, and with percent put, if you write ampersand basin, that means you are asking SAS to show the value what this basin variable, macro variable consists of. So you see the value represents like this, correct? So in case if you are trying to look those the same value, whether it is getting resolved in your program, let's check with procprint. So if you execute this procprint, it's telling in where it is telling something. What it's giving you the message that your where it results 0, that the where value statement is not working with the logic to subset your data. It's telling an ambiguously false where clause was used. So when you're writing this, it's not working to select the values from your data for basin. Because ideally, if you remember, we were writing these values where every value should be separated with comma and they should be coming in quotes, correct? But when you are writing ampersand basin, it will ideally resolve to show you the values like this. Ideally, we have these values, okay, separated by comma, but when it resolves, it is going to resolve as a whole like this. And we never have any data value like this in your data set. Are you getting it? Why it is the reason it's not selecting, and therefore you are getting 0 observations, and therefore we were getting this note also that the where has ambiguously false clause. I hope now you have understood what it's doing and why we are not getting any observations when we give like this list of values along with this. Yes.
Yes. So that means like we can't give more than one value when the similar value.
No, we can give more than one value, but there is a way to represent this type of values if you want to put every value with quotes like this. Okay,
Okay.
so there is a macro variable which puts quotes on, or macro function, I can say, when you're using in your program over here. So how to use it and how you can apply it. So there is a function called as b codes. Okay, so that b code function will take care to apply quotation marks. But I'm not taking it now because it will be heavy for you. Once we go and enter into macro language, when we learn into advanced SAS, at that time we'll be learning this. All fine?
Okay. So that means whenever there are these values, they has to be in the quotation marks, right? Otherwise, it.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, because if you know, these are your character type of variable values. And these values, whenever we are subsetting, it should be always given like this. Because if you remember this code, I had given it individually in quotation separated by comma with in operator. And that's why this code was ideally getting executed successfully without using your macro. Correct? But
Yeah.
in live scenario, now this was only 6 codes, but in live scenario, when you are working in our data which has huge values, and you may have there various codes, okay, and those codes may be more than 10, more than 15, more than 20. So in that case, are you going to sit and write those values like this separately, all 20 values, or all maybe 15 values? So ideally, it's not feasible to write that way, correct? So there is a way where we can always give these values, where if you want to subset it in your program in a list by using in operator. So this will seem advanced as. All fine?
Yes.
All right, great. Others, I hope you people have understood and followed what we were trying to do. And it wasn't only with Swarupa, but it is every one of us where we will have this issues, or we will be using this type of techniques in upcoming whatever your life scenarios you'll be working with. All right, but I hope you people, everyone has understood why we were not getting the rows when we used it in this format
Ashwini,
for your multiple values. Yes.
I could read the data using the same.
You could read?
Yeah,
Okay. So did you give this percent-led basin with this comma, or it
yeah,
was without comma?
with comma.
Okay, just share your screen. Let's see.
Yes, I'll comment out 1 minute. Yeah. Shall I read?
Okay. See, why you was getting here is, okay, just go ahead, execute, yes.
Yeah.
All right, so it's proc means code. Fine,
Hmm.
show me a code. It's only with proc means. It's subsetting. Show me a log. Log. Scroll up. So there's a where. Scroll down. Let me see where how it's working with where. See how it's doing. It's just working with two conditions. So it did not take this condition. Basin in. Give me your remote control, please.
Is it because of the or thing, right?
Yes. So what has happened here, it's because you have given three conditions with or operator. So what is happening? This is ideally it's not working at all. Why? Because if you observe this where criteria is telling it has worked only on these two criterias. It is not or it has ignored this basin. Are you getting it?
Can you go to the code once? If you see the proc print, that also there also it is the same basin. I think where it is coming.
Proc print here. So let's check. See, for every time, let me tell you in this program, for every proc, you don't have to always give this %lets, okay? So this %let is only one time statement. So no need of every time writing it with new procs. So this is one time like a global statement. You just need to create this macro and keep on writing your various procs for your macro variables. So of course, from the memory, it will resolve the value what we have given. So no need of every time writing this %let for every procs. Are you getting it? Yes, Shanmuga? No, it's Sunilima. I hope you understood what I'm trying to tell you. So you are creating only once. So it will be created and it will be in the memory. So no need of every time resubmitting and creating. Okay. So now let's work with proc print. So with proc print also see, it's using only this two clauses of your where or this two criterias of where. It's not working with your
But it,
subsetting where it is applied this. Now it's a list report, right? Because it's a list report proc print, you have given this where max wind mile per hour is this value, start date is this value. So this is of course it's resolving your macro which you have provided here. It's resolving this macro. This macro is not getting resolved. Why? Because sorry, what it's you used? See here you have used wind, correct? So it's actually working on this clause that wherever the condition for max wind mile per hour is 156 and start date is greater than equal to 1st Jan 2000. So wherever this criteria is true, it's giving the result. Now, obviously, in your print, you have selected the column basin name, start date, end date, max wind mile. So it's selecting all the rows which is equivalent for this condition. So obviously for basin also it will give you the result. So it is giving you the values for basin, which is actually not filtering on basin, but it's working with filtering with maximum wind mile per hour and start date. Are you getting it? I hope you've understood what result and how this result is been coming. So this where itself in your log it's telling that though you have provided this condition with or with basin as well, it's not taking here because it's or. So it's taking either this is true or this is true. This is by default coming because it is working with all the basins wherever this is true. Are you
So
getting it?
if we put and, it won't work, right?
And it won't work because everywhere the
Yeah.
combination should be true now.
So there will
Because
be
in
no observations, right?
correct, so there it may not come any observation. But in case if you write individual values of basin, like instead of writing all this list of values, and now I use that select only those values where I have the combination coming up that the wind should be equal to 156 and basin should be NA, and your start date should be greater than equal to your start date of 1st Jan 2000. So what this and is showing that you are asking SAS to make a strict rule for SAS to select only the combination that wherever there is basin NA, wherever there is maximum mile per hour which is greater than equal to 156, and that only select those columns. Are you getting it? So, and means it's a mandatory for SAS to look only those values. So this is not having any observations coming, because in your data there is no combination of data value where basin is NA and your for NA basin the maximum wind mile per hour is greater than that value, and of course the start date is also greater than the value which we have provided for start date. Are you getting it now, the logic?
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
So that is why we use this or. So or means either of the condition is true, but select those values. So in case if it is telling that the first row is having basin as NA, but this date is not greater than equal to 1st Jan 2000, and this maximum mile per hour is also not greater than equal to 56, but this condition NA is true, then it will select those rows for NA. See, either of the condition. So see, we get the output. See here, is your maximum wind mile per hour greater than 156?
No, but the date is.
But no, the date, yeah, either of the condition, but the date is greater than 1 Jan 2000 and your
Yeah.
value for basin is NA.
Yeah.
So it's taking either of it. So for this NA, this was true, so it's NA all is coming. But here it's coming AEP. But why EP is telling? Because it is either of the condition, either your date is now here it's coming this,
Yeah,
it's
only
this, but your
Yeah.
max wind mile per hour is greater than 156. Are you getting it?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So it's because of your or, and that is why when we had written and, it was giving us 0 rows. Why? Because the result, the logic which we have given with where condition to subset your data, your result, if you see, nowhere the values which we are looking for is true. See, though here it is NA, but your date is not greater than 1st Jan 2000. Though here your maximum wind mile per hour value is not greater than 156. So and will not work in this. Therefore, we were not getting any of this any which was true for maximum wind mile per hour greater than 156 and start date greater than 1st Jan. Hence, this row was not selected. Are you getting it now? How and or works?
Yeah.
Everyone, Priyanka, Shanmuga, Swarupa.
Yes, I got it.
Yes.
Priyanka,
Yes, I got it.
all right. So let's move ahead with the next. I think yesterday with this demo, we had an activity. So did you work with that activity also? No, right? Okay, so stop sharing, please, Nilima, so that I can come to my screen. Okay. So you had done this demo. So now open this activity. So it's telling change the value in percentage statement for NA to SP. Now it's only NA to SP, one value. Run the program and carefully read the log. Which procedure did not produce a report? What is a different about the where statement in that step? So let's open activity A03 for your lesson 3. So come to activities folder, chapter 3, activity A03. So uncomment each where statement at one at the time. So it is the same which is aligning with your activity? No. So for me, it's not the same. So what I can do is, let's check another activity A04. Yes, so A04 is what it is on your slide. So in case sometimes, like even Priyanka last time had the same issue. If that particular number of activity on the slide is not matching with the code when you open it, so it will try to open the next file. All right. So sometimes there might be some jumbling up. So don't worry. Fine. So now currently your percent-led basin code is telling you are creating a macro variable basin code with value of NA. And you're using NA in each of your procedures to subset your data. So you're using two procedures, proc-mince and proc-frequency. So first and foremost is percent-led. Now percent-led means to create a macro variable. So ideally, if you want to check in the SAS memory that what is the macro variable basin code SAS is creating. So you can always check the value by using percent put and the macro variable name. So what percent put does, it's actually to check the values in log, that how SAS resolves the value for your macro variable which you have created with basin code. It's taking time. Along with it, I write percent put and I check the value ampersand code. Either you give the value to this resolve like this, or you can also write ampersand is a macro variable name called basin code. Any which one, it will resolve the value what currently basin code has been created with percent. So see in log. So because I simply wrote with percent put ampersand basin, so it's resolving ampersand basin value is NA. And if I give it like this, that ampersand sign is your macro variable name called basin code. It's telling basin code is a macro variable and the value resolved is NA. So any which one, if you want to check the value in percent put in log, you can write like this to just check or counter check or debug about your macro variable getting resolved to which value. All fine? Are you with me? Did you understand how this percent put works? Yes?
I didn't get it.
Okay. But did you understand what percent put is doing? Swarupa?
Sorry,
I know.
Ashwini,
My question is, did you understand what percent put is doing here?
I think it gives you what the macro variable
Correct.
currently
it is the
has been.
variable. It
Correct.
shows
So
the
it just shows the values in log. Correct.
Hmm.
So either which way. So these are two techniques. Either you write
Okay.
ampersand basin code, or you just, it's a new development. You just write ampersand equal to your macro variable name which you have created with percent let like this. Just write ampersand equal to basin code. So this ampersand basin code is also resolving the same value, and this is a way or a new way of technique to represent. So it's the both way is correct. So it's telling what ampersand is equal to basin code means your macro variable name and its value. So this is, it will resolve in this way, and this it will resolve in your ideal way with its value. Got it? So any of the techniques is fine to check the values. All fine, Swarupa?
yeah.
So these are just two techniques just to check the values. Shanmuga, are you with us?
Yes, Ashwini.
I hope you understood.
Yes.
Okay. Priyanka? Priyanka?
Yes, I did.
Great. And Nilima?
Yeah.
Great. So you can also check it. It gives the same thing, but it's the way to represent. It's a new technique, which was developed recently since the new version of 9.4 onwards or 9.3 onwards. Okay. Earlier we were writing this way only. So it was resolving like this. But we were not understanding what this is for. So hence, if you write in this way, it's telling this is your macro variable and this is its value. That's it. Okay. So we now they are telling in this activity change this NA to SP. South specific. Okay, and before working with, let's execute your NA values with your proc means and proc frequency. So with NA as a macro variable used, we see it's giving you the values only for one procedure in your result. Did you get the result for proc frequency in the result window? Though I have executed all the code at one go, just pay attention to my screen. Are you all there now? So see, with %let, I'm creating a macro variable Basin code with value of NA, and I'm using that in my upcoming procs. So I have two procedures to generate a report. One is for proc means and another is for proc frequency, right? So when this has been executed, let's check the output. So the output you get only for proc means. Do you see the output for proc frequency?
No.
No, correct. So let's check your log. So it's telling the proc frequency is being processed in your SAS memory, but it's telling no observations are selected from dataset pg1.storm summary. There were 0 observations, hence the where clause is falsely executed. But when I scroll up, I check it that procmins is executing without any errors. So procmins is giving me the result where it is subsetting the value for any. So where in procfric it's telling why we are not getting any values in procfric. Look at the technique here. Why your data might have not got executed with procfric, sorry.
The asterisks are wrong.
Asterisk, no, we call it as quotation marks. So
Yeah.
though you have given a macro variable, single quotation to resolve the values of macro variables will not work. Hence, whenever you use a macro variable for subsetting and it's a character type of macro variable value, always give double quotations. Correct? Now execute with your, again I re-execute the whole thing for your understanding. And now let's check again with profit. Now I'm getting the result. All right. Yes.
Yes.
Now what I do is, as per this, it's telling change the value for in your %let statement for your macro variable created with NA to SP. Now you are doing only one change in your program and you again re-execute your code. So it's telling run the program and carefully read the log. All right. Which procedure did not produce a report? What is different about where statement? I think that we have already discussed it. So for us, it's giving the output. So when we are looking with this, yes, it is subsetting your SP and it is also working with means for subsetting your SP. See, your SP values are being resolved in your log for your macro with %let statement also. So why, what was the earlier issue with our program? It was because the values for macro is to be given with double quotes and not with single quotes. So earlier with procmins, we were not getting the result with procfric. It was only with procmins. Why? Because procfric has the issues in your data value to resolve macro variables. Wherever we use macro variables, which is a data type of character, see to it, you put them into double quotes. All right, so that's what your activity was. So it was not working with Fricks because double quotation marks must be used around macro variables. Single quotation marks were used around this, hence it was not getting resolved. And exercise. So yesterday I said you see to it that you do this exercise as a self-study. Let's move ahead with the new topic of this lesson, which is formatting columns. Now, yesterday, if you remember, I did give a glimpse or we just got introduced to formats. Okay, so we'll see it in more details here, how one can apply formats for your data values to be visualized or to represent in your report. So formatting data values in result. So if you see this, it's your data which is consisting some values for column ID, higher ID, and salary. Now look at the date value. So is this date for you giving you some meaningful information that what date it is? Yes?
2nd October 2020, is it that way?
No, it's the SAS date which is in the form of number of days.
After, okay.
Yeah, so in case if you say it's 2 October 20, but what about this? Do you have a year 42? Are you getting it?
Yeah, you can't say it from the.
Yes. So you cannot interpret this date because you know in SAS dates are always saved in the form of number of days which is calculated from 1st Jan 1960. So that day is 0 day and whatever date you give in your data, it is accordingly saving it number of days. Correct? I hope you are recollecting it, Priyanka, Shanmuga.
Yeah, I remember.
Great. Shanmuga, are you there?
Yes.
Right. So because it's your SAS dates, you cannot interpret that what the actually your current calendar date or how you can uh, give or read that date. Hence, we are going to give certain instructions to SAS so that these values are readable and you can see it in your calendar date format. And this salary also, though it's a numeric column, these values are just numbers, but you want to enhance these values where you want to see some dollar sign at every 1,000 places. You want to enhance, sorry, comma sign at every 1,000 places. You want to give its dollar sign. And in case if you want the decimal places also. So how you apply certain instructions so that your data values are enhanced, okay, to be readable in your output. So this is how it is. So you're changing how your data value should appear in your report so that it is more appealing and understanding to the end user. Okay, so changing how values appear make it easier to interpret your data. Correct? Hence, we are going to apply format to see the values in a specific form which we want to view it or interpret it. So for that, we are going to make use of this format statement. So it's a statement where you're writing format, it's ending with a semicolon, and this format works on column or number of columns on which a format has to be applied. So this format is actually a format name which we are applying on this column. So if your column is character type, the format name starts with dollar and followed with vid and decimal places. Okay, vid means number of characters or number of values to be shown, and decimal it works with numeric values. So how it works? Let's see now. So like for example, in our data, if we have if we are working with this data set called as SAS help.cars, okay. SAS help, we have cars data set. So this cars dataset has any date column, but it has this, but it is already applied. All right, no worries. To do the class, let's check class good dates. Okay, so we have this class birth date data, correct? So this class birth date is in your PG1 library. It has character columns, name and sex, and we have age, height, weight as your numeric columns. Now look at this date. Can you represent or can you interpret this date of the students?
No.
No. Correct? Are you all with me, everyone? So in case I'm generating prop report with print data equal to pg1 dot last birthday, and I simply use run. Now I don't want all the rows to be represented in the report because we're just seeing how it's working. So I select the observations, writing OBS equal to just process 10 rows, where or SAS should stop processing when the observation number 10 appears. So hence I see this. So when I give this report to my end users, they will not understand this particular student who has what date of its birth, correct? So to make it more interpretable, I can make use of a statement within my procedure called as format. It's a statement, it's ending with semicolon. Now within this, as per the syntax format, it's telling you a column name on which you want to apply a specific format. So I'm going to write the column which has to be applied a date to be read in a readable format in my data is birth date. So I move into my program. I read I give my column called as birth date. Okay. And I ask SAS to apply a format of pt, mm, yy, and dot. Okay, so this is called as a format name, and this I'm giving a vid. Okay, so this vid means this values for date, including this type of format, it should give the total vid of 10. That means I want 2 digits of day, 2 digits of month, and my year, including this year, the total vid should be 10. So now when I apply this prop print or apply this format statement in my prop print, I get the report where now my date is readable and it's coming in the form as the date, month, and 4 digits here, including the slashes. Check the width 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The width is 10. Are you getting it? So what that W is, it's the width. All fine? Understood now? So this is format. And we had explained earlier also why I'm giving this period. It's the name of the format which always ends with period to distinguish to SAS telling that this is the format name to be applied on this column. Because in case if see the color here, it's green. But in case if I remove this period immediately, the green color of this is gone. And if I try to execute my prop print, what it will do, if you remember what we have done yesterday. So see, is this date coming with your format DDMMYY? Yes.
No.
So see, it's giving us the log, sorry, in my program window, it's giving me a warning. So I check my log. So it's telling I have a warning telling DDMMYY not found in dataset pg1.birth class. So what does this mean? What does this mean? So how will you interpret this?
It counted the format as a variable.
Yeah.
Absolutely correct. So it's treating as if in a format statement you are writing variable. So even this is also a variable. Hence, it's reading birth date. It's there in your data. But DDMMYY, it's also searching in this data and it's telling this variable is not in your data set. Are you getting it now? But we
Yes.
know that this is not a variable. It's a format name to be applied on this column. Hence, we go back into your program and we distinguish it by giving it with period. So it's a distinguishing for SAS to understand that this is a column name and this is a format name which we are applying on this column. Hence, when we now execute this prop print, you will see that your birth date column will appear with this format, which is DDMMYY 10. All fine?
Yeah.
Ashwini, can you show me the code one more time?
See,
What
when I'm
it
explaining,
Oh,
one
you
second. When I'm explaining, don't try to work simultaneously because when you I'm explaining with some concepts to be clear. When you are trying to type and work on your screen, you may tend to lose what I'm actually explaining on the screen. So as you know, my technique now, once I finish my explanation, I give you time to work on the same code. So there you can clear your, or you can have a hands-on, but do not do simultaneously when I'm
No,
explaining.
I
All
was
right?
not, I was not
No,
typing.
I was
Yeah.
just giving a general uh,
Yeah.
inputs. Okay, so what was your question, Priyanka?
No, I just wanted to see the code because I did not like that dot you put. I was
Mhm.
not sure whether it goes into dots or does it goes into the way it was in the format, the greater than smaller than sign. So I just wanted to check
Oh, no, it's a format distinguishing. To distinguish SAS, telling that it's a format name
writing it.
and
Yeah.
it's not a column name. All right.
Yeah.
Now, moving back into the same example. Now, if you have observed this data carefully, this data has numeric columns called height and weight. Now, if you remember, if you observe carefully, this height is something showing 69. Some person is having 56.5. Some person is having the height of decimal places. Your weight, some are overweight. Maybe this is, I'm giving it's overweight, but it's 3 digits with 2 decimal places. Okay, so this is some of the weights values, correct? Now, in case if I go back in my program and I give the format for my height or weight, or height would be with a format with 3 digits. Okay, so what I do is I simply write height and a width of 3 dot. Now, what is this 3 dot? It's a width. So if you have observed this slide carefully, see this syntax of format name. So when you give this type of, when SAS gives you this type of brackets, that means it's optional brackets. So it's dollar sign indicates this format name is for column which is to be used as character type. So it's a optional, it's telling width. So I'm just giving width for my numeric data column, telling the width should be 3 dot for my height. Now check how the report appears. Now, because I've increased the width, or I just give decrease the width as 3, my height originally was having, including period and decimal place, this is having more than 3 width space, correct? But in my program, I have reduced the width. Look at the height. It removed the decimal values. Are you getting it? How it is displaying the values now? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, now again moving back, I want the same width to be applied for my column called weight. So along with height, I write weight. So format, height, weight, both the columns will have a common width applied, whereas a second column will have its respective format to be applied. So hence, in this syntax, it is telling format, column, columns. So you can write either single column with the same format name to be applied, or if you want multiple columns with the same format to be applied, it's given like this. Same thing, you have multiple columns with same format to be applied in your output. Now I re-execute, and if you check those columns, height, weight, and date, see now, date is having its own format, height and weight is having a common format of 3 So your no more decimal places are there. Understood?
Yes. Ashwini,
Okay.
if for height, like you said, like for money, we put dollar. So for
Right.
height, if we want to put inches and weight, we want to put lbs, then how we do?
Okay, so yes, so that is a good question. So for that, so this formats which I'm applying, these are ready to use, or we call it as SAS defined. All right. So those are standard. You can directly apply. So once you start having hands-on, when you practice this type of formats, you'll keep on remembering. Don't worry. But in case what you are telling that you want to give heights, or you want to give a label for it that it is fits. Okay. So in that case, it's your data required type of information. So it's user defined information. So in that case, you do not have standard formats like SAS we have like this. So you can create your own formats in that case, and those are called as user-defined formats. So how to create those user-defined formats, that we'll see in upcoming topics, not now. So you have that flexibility to create your own formats as per your data to be visualized. All right.
Okay.
Okay, so now this was about your numeric columns, but in your data you do have a column of maybe its name. So name and sex are character columns, correct? So in case if you want to see these names of the, maybe the, you call it as students or you call those as subjects, let this data be per class only. Okay, so you don't want the whole name of your students in the report. You just want to see their first three letters of their name. So in that case, what you can do is you can apply a format which is called as, you want to give the width of only first three characters to be visualized into your report. So you write a program where you give the column name, you give your name is a column, and because this name column is character type, I write the format name as with dollar, and I want the width to be given with 3. So what it will do, on my column name, it is a character type of column, hence I'm writing dollar sign, and I width the value, and the values for this name should represent with the width of 3. All right, so now when I execute this format along with this proc print, look at the result. So see the name, do I get only the 3 characters of my name now?
Yes.
Right? So others, I hope you all are able to follow Nilima, Shanmuga.
Yes, Ashwini.
So check your log.
Character formatting, we have to give the dot even for the characters also.
Yes, because it's a name of the format. In case if you do not give this dot, it will again treat it as
Also
one of the
another
variable.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, so it's a standard way of representing a format.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
so see what you said. All right, so that's what the slides were telling about this, that in case of format name is for character type of column, it should always begin with dollar. So it indicates it's a character format. So width means total width of the format value. Decimal, all formats includes a period, and D indicates that it's a number of decimal places. All right.
Yes.
So I would request you can try this same code. So you people can try this code.
Okay. So I gave in my code height at 4 just to get one like
Okay.
2 values and one more. But my result has weight in 4 but height in 2.
It's because see, though height already the digits are, earlier we had 6 point or 68.5 or something. Okay, so height is not going to affect with the increase in width.
But at least
But
I think you give
3 should be there, na?
What width you have given?
At
No.
least 3 should be there. I gave 4.
Yeah, 56.5 should be coming, right?
So
I gave it 4. I wanted to see.
give me the remote control here.
Yeah.
Okay, so originally, what's your class birth date, height? this is
Most
the
are
height.
3.
C, okay, most are 3, fine.
Yeah.
When I go to height and I check its properties, it's by default length is 8 bytes already.
8. Yeah.
So where's your program? In this?
In this one. Yeah.
So you are giving height is 4 dot. Let me check your log.
This-
Format 4. Okay. In case if you increase this height by 5, original data is this, which
Mhm.
gives you decimal places, and your result is currently not giving those decimal places either, right?
Mhm.
So your question is, it should come as it is.
Yeah. Or it should actually come in 4. I wanted to see if it will come in 4.
No,
Like
why it
5
will
0.
come in 4? Yeah, it won't
Just
come
to make
5
it.
0. No,
Yeah.
one sec. In case if I give it more, let's suppose 6. So it's not going to affect your height values. That's what I'm telling you, because originally your height is having, including the see minimum width for numeric values you can give is 3. Okay, so with 3 it can save nearly 4 digits. With 3 as a width, it can save, or with 3 width, not 4 digits. So it's with including your maybe decimal values and all, whatever the values are, it comes as it is. But when even if you are increasing the width here, it's not affecting your data to represent, because your data is coming as it is. Why? Because if you see these values for your height, okay, somewhere it's 60, somewhere it's 65. So if you check the observation number 2, it is coming what? 56.5 in your
56.5.
original data. But when you see this result, how the
It's
data is
57.
coming, what has happened?
It's rounded off.
That's it. So when you're
Why?
increasing the height, no, it's normal behavior. It's because
Okay.
it's already having a decimal value, and because the height cannot be extended more, you're increasing the width. What SAS is trying to do is it's trying to fit within the given width. So it's always going to give you a rounding value, because in numeric data your width can, even if you extend, but the original data which is having already some values which are 4 digits or 2 digits with decimal values, it will always give you rounding up whenever you increase your width.
Okay, so if I will do just 3,
So
then
now 3 is fine, because 3 can fit your decimal places. Try with 3 dot. Now it's the width which is only with total
it's
width,
still
but you did not give, it's giving you the same thing, because it's trying to fit in between the given width, correct? Now when I go back to this code, okay, and I give this width, because it's a numeric, I can give this width, I increase it, suppose I give it as suppose 6, and I give that I want it with decimal values. All right, now let's check how it represents.
okay. Oh, that's what I was hoping for. But then you have to give it decimal and then
You
the
have to
value.
give decimal, yes. So if, in
Got
case if you want to see the decimals, you can give the decimal places. All right,
Got it.
fine. Okay, great. So let's stop sharing from your end, please. Okay, so here it is. So see, these are some of the common formats for numeric values. So see, this is a table where it is explaining the formats. This is the name of the formats, and this is original values. Okay, so this is numeric value. So you're applying a format of W dot. Okay, W dot D. Okay, so these are some of the format names. The format which you're applying is 5 dot. That means only width. So look at your original value and look at your formatted value. So because you are giving a whole width value which is 5, it's trying to fit this value within the given width, where it's also rounding up your decimal places. I hope now you understood why it was working with your heights with those decimals and without decimals, why it was coming in that way. Understood?
Yes.
Okay. Nilima, Shanmuga, Swarupa,
Yes, Ashwini.
great. So it's trying to fit the values as per the provided width. So though it has originally decimal, so it won't show decimal values, but it is rounding up the value for its given width. Next, if it you are giving w dot d, the same value. So the original value has total width as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Correct? But we know numeric values by default in SAS are saving it 8 bytes, and 8 bytes means it has the capacity to store nearly 16 digits. That is ideally. But in case you do not want to save it with those many bytes, you want to represent with a word, you just apply a format as 8.1. So including the decimal places 1, the total word try to adjust to display the value with 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So your data is with this value, because you have given 1 decimal places, the width is getting reduced and it's giving 1 decimal place with round of value for your data. Now the next format name applying is comma w dot. So you want to apply a comma on this data with total weight of 8.1. So this is the name of the format including its weight and its decimal places. So by default at its 1000 place, SAS will apply comma and including comma and the decimal, which is 1 place, total width is 8. So if you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, including comma, total width with 1 decimal place is 8. Why 8? Because you have provided the width with your format name as 8.1. Are you getting it now? Now see, you are applying or you are going to look ahead with $w dot. So you have this original data numeric column value. You want to apply a dollar and 2 decimal places, including a comma sign, dollar sign, 2 decimal place, total width should be 10. So your original data will be appearing. I'm not doing any changes in my original data value. It is just instructions to display the value in your data in this form. Hence, including comma, including dollar sign, 2 decimal places, total width is 10. So see at 10 or 1000 position, it is giving comma and it's giving the currency sign as well. The total word is 10 with 2 decimal places and special signs, which is comma and dollar. All fine now. I hope Swarupa, you have got your answer for your question.
Yeah.
Great. Now I reduce the width. I simply write $10 dot. Okay, the value is this. Now see what has happened. I don't reserve the weight. It's just that I'm not giving the decimal values. So see what is happening.
No decimal and rounding off.
Correct. So it's giving the dollar sign. It's giving the comma because of this format name. It is a currency. So we know in currency, if you have the values of with 10,000s or more than 10,000 places, so it will give this comma, correct? And a dollar sign, which is a currency. And because it's just 10 dot without any decimals, your decimals are not applied, but your data is rounded up, including this special signs. Now look at this. You also have a format called N. You can apply with and decimal place. So this is your number. You are giving N7 dot. So it will apply a currency sign, comma sign, and with this total width, it's trying to adjust the value. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So total width now, including this special signs without decimal, your data is getting round up and it's adjusting with the given width of 7. You can also give Euro X. Now Euro X is a currency type where it will give you, instead of a comma at 1000 place, it will represent with period, and decimal value will represent with not with comma dot, but it will give you the comma. So when you write euro x, it always represents the value like this. All fine? It's euro x, it's not euro or euro, whatever you pronounce. Look at the slide carefully. In case any questions, ask me. I give you some
The
time
euro
for you.
X, I don't understand why it is taking all reverse.
What reverse it's taking?
Euro X.
It's not
Instead-
reverse. Euro X is always represented like this. It's not. We are not giving euro. Euro is a different format. It's euro X. Euro X always represents your 1000 places with period and your decimal values with comma, and it will give you this euro sign. It's X, right? It's X. It is always going to be like this. It's the way some of the currency represents in this form.
Mhm.
Okay, so Euro X has been developed as per that currency requirement. So it's been developed because it's there in the world. People are using this type of figures to be representing. So they wanted to represent in Euro X. So this was developed accordingly, and thus the value comes in this way. So remember, whenever you apply Euro X, the 1000 place instead of comma, it will represent with period, and the decimal place with period will represent with comma. Only remember this thing. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Now go to this activity where you are supposed to open SAS.com documentation site. Go and search for formats, and for formats, look into ZW.D, and what does this format ZW.D do? So go ahead and search this documentation and explain what it does. Yes. So what does this W.Z W.D format do?
I was not able to locate it. That's what I said.
See, okay. Just click this support.sas.com, or in case here it's not working, what I can do is I go to my, as you know, we can always have SAS documentation to be used as your help guide. So it will connect to your documentation of SAS topics with base, advanced, and all other softwares also. So in this, you go to SAS 9.4.
Up to that point, I was able to go after.
Oh, great. I'll tell you. I hope Nilima, Shanmuga, Priyanka, did you were able to locate it?
Still trying to locate.
So what you can do is you can simply search in documentation when you go to SAS 9.4 to write formats. To write that keyword format, it will give you the information. It's connecting to the documentation site of SAS. So see, either what you can do is either you can search by using here by typing this what you require to search in the document. Else what you can do is go directly to the left hand side pane. There are various topics on your SAS 9.4. So we are not into data step, we are not into base SAS step, but we want to look for formats, correct? So that you can apply it, or you can always search it by typing here.
It is a SAS numeric, right? Decimal. I don't know. I think I found it, but I didn't.
No, the
It
format name
specifies.
is
it specifies the width of the output field.
The
W.
format is zw.d.
Yeah, I found it.
Z.
I can share, but I don't understand what they're trying to say in that.
One second.
They're explaining W, they're explaining D. They say the detail.
The format name is starting with zw.d.
Yes.
It's not when you are telling about Z
You want me to
anything.
share my screen?
One sec. Please search by me. Data step and procedures. We have format coming to it. See, in data step, go into formats. So you get this formats, okay? So within formats, when I click that on the reading pane, it will give me the details about formats, okay? Just hold on. So about formats. So let's see the
Dictionary of formats. Yeah.
So
The
in
last
this,
one.
let's go alphabetically.
Oh, it was so
So
easy.
see what ZW dot means. Here it's given D, it's all fine, but it's in format. We want to look for formats. We are looking dictionary for in formats. Dictionary of formats. Definitions. Dictionary of formats. This go with the alphabetical. So what does this see? See, did you locate ZW.D format? Everyone?
Yes.
Okay, now when I click this, it will give me the information about this. And what does that ZW dot? Now we know what W dot is. It's a word with decimal. And Z indicates it will apply leading zeros.
Z means?
Leading zeros. Zero.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so this is its detail. Format writes standard numeric values, 1 digit per bytes, and fills in zeros to the left of your data. That means even if the value for your data is, suppose it's 1 or 2, it's single digits, and you write zw.d, it will give, including the width, it will give you the leading z or leading zeros to your data. Are you getting it? So this is what it's telling. See, you have your data 1350. You're applying Z8 dot. So Z8 dot. So your total width you're telling is 8, including the original data has 4 digits. So it's telling total width should be 8 and it should have leading zeros. Okay. So see, it will try to fit the value with total width of 8 will giving leading zeros, including your original data.
So it
Got it?
doesn't put after 135000.
No, because the location of Z is before W.
Okay, and if you give it afterwards, it would give after that.
Do we have that type of format? Let's check. Zeros, if you want to apply, you can give in decimal places in case your data is having less numbers, but you increase the width along with decimals. It will keep on adding those zeros in your decimal places. You do not have any type of formats
Yeah,
where
we
you want
don't need
to.
that actually.
Yeah, correct. I hope this is clear. Shanmuga, Nilima, what ZW.D does? Nilima,
Yeah.
Shanmuga. So this is what it is. All right. So let's work with date formats. Now this is the original value in your data set. Okay. Your date is in the form of number of days. You are applying a format called date 7 dot. So this date format name always appear the format as 2 digits day, 3 letters of the month, and your year. Now, because the width is 7, your year is truncated to only 2 digits of your year, and the total width comes as 7. So, same date, but the width is 9. So, your date 9 dot. Now, look at it how it appears. Your width is increased, hence, the year is 4 digits. Getting it? What is date formats?
Yeah, yes.
Yes.
Just for a date 10, that means it is DD, MM, YY, right? For date
So
10.
when you say the format is 10 dot, either you can write MMDDYY or DDMMYY. When you write MMDDYY 10 dot, with 10 is its width. MDY means first it should give you 2 digits of month, then day, then year, and total width should be 10. So it gives the special signs slashes also, and the total width becomes 10, where this is the 2 digits of your month, 2 digits of day, 4 digits of year.
So
Okay,
this is
so
this is for US, right? For India, it will be different.
see, it depends what is your data requirement. If your client tells that they want the date in the form of MMDDYY, you give it this way. If your client says that they want to see first day, then month, and then year, you write DDMMYY.
Yeah, the second one is yeah.
Yes, so DDMMYY with the width of 8. So when you see the width is decreased to 8, so see how it represents the data. Day, month, year. Now because the width is decreased, your year is showing with 2 digits. But your special signs are still there, which is hyphen. But only the format changes date, month, and year. Alright. I hope I'm making some sense on this.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. Priyanka, Shanmuga,
Yes.
Shanmuga, a long time I've not heard from you. She's there or she's left? Or some internet issue. All right. Now look at this type of format. You are writing MONYY7 dot. So you are telling it should apply month, year, and a width of 7. So MON means it will give you first 3 letters of your month and the year. Because of 7 width, it will show you the width is total as 7. Because the format name you want to see it as month and year and the width. So month, year, and because of 7 width, it's giving you 4 digits of your year month. All right. Then you want a format where you just want to see month name dot. So you see the month. All right. And if you want week date, so the same date will represent the day of the week, month, the day digit wise, comma, and the year. So you have no need of width because weekday when you see it will give you the date in this form itself. All right. So now see here, you're applying a date on your birth date called date 9 dot. So it appears 9 dot in this way. 9 is the total width, and the date format will always show you the date as day, 3 letters of your month followed with the year. Got it? And look at here, common width for height and weight is 3. So original weight it's showing decimal places, but you have reduced the width. It's trying to fit the weight accordingly. So this value gets round up in your data with a total width of 3. This is also the same thing, total width. So here it's telling 56.5, but it's giving you the width should be in round with 3. Okay, so no decimals it will come, hence it will round up the value. All right. Yes.
Yes.
So wherever you want from your data, two columns or more than two columns with common formats, you can write those columns separated by space and apply a common format like this. So this three will be applied on weight also and height also. Fine. Thus you have the same demonstration. So before moving to this demonstration, come to this activity A05. Highlight the print step and run the selected code. Notice how values of latitude, longitude, start date and end date display. Go ahead and they're telling change the width for date. With this second point, you have changed the format. So you have applied the format, date format with 7 width. So this is with 7 width and this is with 11 width. You get this date appear like this, correct? It gives you special sign hyphen in between the data, correct? Did you get the same thing?
Yes.
Right. So point 4 is the part of it. Point 5 it's telling add a format called as month name. So your data gets, instead of getting a detailed data, your data gets summarized with only on every month you get the frequency counts. So there are in the report total 12 rows. So did you apply this? Did you apply this in Procfred? If you had applied this start date with a format as month name, it represents the discrete data to wherever there is August, it will show all the August data gets concised into August data, September data, July data. Hence, the detailed data gets summarized into proc report, proc print into and for all 12 months you get only 12 rows. I think you did not apply this format.
We have the answer is same, but in the logs it is reading it is 3118 total.
Obviously, in log, it is going to read your data, right? It's reading this data. So your original data has 3,118 rows, but you are applying a format. Format is always viewed into result to see your data value, how it is representing. So check your data result.
Yeah,
So
we
your
are
result,
I'm reading it
Yeah,
like that.
we are getting the same. Yeah.
you are getting the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. So it's correct. Obviously, your log will tell you it is 3,118. Why? Because your input data is reading so many rows, right? So it's
Okay. The
processing this
question is
data.
how many rows are in the report?
Correct. In the report means this report which you see in your result window.
Yeah.
Got it
Okay.
now?
Yeah.
Yeah. So formats are an easy way to group data in procedures. So that's why I said your detailed data got concised. Correct? So it got grouped. All your discrete data values where you have data for every day, individual day, it's now got grouped in its month. Got it?
Yeah.
Ashwini,
Yes.
why is the data like the start dates are like August, September, July, then October? Neither they are alphabetic, neither they are as per the month. Like, is
It
there
is coming as per the frequencies
a highest
counts.
frequency?
Highest frequency counts.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so sorting data and removing data, we'll do it in our next class. So today we'll stop for the day, but before stopping, we'll discuss about what topics you were looking for discussion with respect to your resume preparation. Yes.
Um, First question was like we have to attend that